refugee program as conflict and hunger in South Sudan forces more people to flee their homes and seek refuge in neighboring countries. A 70-year-old grandmother in Uganda's Yumbe district is helping the refugees grow food crops on a part of her land. Uganda has a liberal refugee policy that maintains open borders, allocates land plots to individual refugee families, and allows communities donate land to refugees.
In Uganda's northern Yumbe district, a refugee family from South Sudan is out preparing land for the planting season. They are part of hundreds of thousands of civilians who have fled a 3-year civil war that has triggered the biggest cross-border exodus in Africa since the 1994 Rwandan genocide. 70-year-old Medina Noah has donated part of her land to allow the family grow food crops. Uganda's liberal system allows residents in border regions to donate land to refugees. The refugees are also granted freedom of movement, employment rights, and access to public clinics and schools in Uganda.
I gave them this land out of kindness. When the crops yield, they will be able to harvest them and have food. I have faith that they will have a bountiful harvest.
Uganda now hosts about 1.2 million refugees, of which over 800,000 are South Sudanese who fled the country when civil war broke out. South Sudan has been mired in civil war since 2013, when President Kiir fired his deputy Riek Machar. Most communities in Uganda usually donate land on the expectation that the donor funds that support the refugees will also help the villages in the form of shared public services such as schools, roads, wells, and clinics. The system has made Uganda a frequent sanctuary for those fleeing the many conflicts that have roiled Africa's Great Lakes over the last 3 decades. The United Nations Refugee Agency says it needs to raise $2 billion for relief operations for South Sudanese refugees in Uganda this year, leaving it unable to meet the basic needs of refugees or locals. UNHCR officials say Uganda's crisis is also competing with other humanitarian disasters in Africa, most notably drought in Somalia and food shortages in northeast Nigeria stemming from Boko Haram's 6-year jihadist insurgency. Meanwhile, Medina works together with the visitors on her land who say her generosity has made things better for them. The fighting has uprooted more than 3 million South Sudanese, and by July, 5.5 million, nearly half the population, are unlikely to have a reliable food supply, according to the United Nations.
Fellows of the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders in Southern Africa are converging on Johannesburg for their annual conference under the U.S. government's Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI. More than 100 participants from 14 countries are seeking solutions to the needs of the continent. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Charge d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy to South Africa, Jesse LaPen, challenged the fellows to, most importantly, tap into the network created by the program to make a difference wherever they are. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty DeBeer, reports.
Be anybody. You can be anybody. Better believe that.
Over 100 promising young Africans from 14 countries are here, each a leader in different fields of life.
The conference theme was developed with the understanding of the strong foundational experiences that each of us brings, the fellows that have participated in this program. They're really an extraordinary group of people, and you're an extraordinary group of people who have great things ahead of you.
At the conference, the young leaders are sharing experiences from their training on the field, as well as from the network of leaders they have become a part of.
And we're already there, we warriors pushing stuff, changing Africa. So I'm saying we can't keep, and I know that even us fellows, we keep saying, so where do we start? We have started, we are pushing. What we should be saying is, how do we keep pushing? How do we keep changing Africa?
For the U.S. government and the U.S. people, you represent a tremendous partnership and also opportunity for growth, for collaboration, for partnership, and so we are so happy to be on that journey with you.
For 2 days, the discussions cover leadership issues in Africa, internet connectivity as a human right, a number of lightning talks and workshops on harnessing leadership, as well as helping fellows find solutions.
Being recognized as a leader, as a global young leader, has helped me to, when I approach people, they take the things I'm talking of seriously.
It was also about the networking, not only with other companies and other organizations from USA, but with Africans.
It is, as you say, among other international exchange programs, but this one is unique in its focus on the youth and also its commitment to a Pan-African experience, and it also particularly prizes the network and the follow-up.
The Mandela Washington Fellowship is open to young Africans aged 25 to 35. Successful applicants spend 6 weeks in the United States of America to gain experiences in one of 3 tracks: political life, entrepreneurship, or civic life. The expectation is for them to return and make positive impact in their communities. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
Finally on the program, a collection of rare photographs at the American University in Cairo has given students a rare glimpse into the country's past. After recently acquiring a taxivote, a device once used to view photographs in 3 dimensions, the rare slides have opened a window into some historic moments in the early 20th century Egypt.
Mark Moelhausler, director of the Center for Middle East and Arab Cultures at AUC Library, found the device at an antique shop in Cairo's leafy neighborhood of Madi. The device, which is in good condition, comes with its own slides, which depict various events during that period.
The collection that's here is really interesting because it shows, again, the private life, but also a lot of the public events that happened in Egypt at the time. So, say, the marriage of the daughter of the Khedive, or the burial of the ruler, the flower festival, the first air show in Cairo, and those kind of events that you don't find documented elsewhere. But it's really interesting because of that.
Yeah. Moelhausler says the device, along with the slides, seem to have belonged to a rich Egyptian family who took pictures of major events during that time and also gave a snapshot into their private lives, including their vacations in the south of France. The slides were added to a rich collection of history works at the Rare Books Department in AUC, which is curated by Professor Ola Saif. Saif says the whole collection of slides, negatives and printed photographs have been compiled from numerous donations over the past few decades. We have had these photographs for around 20 or 30 years now, ever since I was a student at the university, but it was neglected and the numbers weren't as great as they are now. The students also did not pay much attention to it, nor did the professors, but over the years the collection continued to increase, and around 10 years ago we decided to pay more attention to it and started documenting what we could document. Students are encouraged to use the collection for research and history projects, and researchers outside of the university also report to the library for its wealth of material.
That's Network Africa. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.